These are the days that you want to be involved in sports talk radio. First and foremost, 8:30 here, live, in studio. Joe Lacob with Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky. I can't wait. Cannot wait for that. 1 hour, unfiltered. Well, we got to have a little filter. Or just use the dump button. Joe Lacob, Joey Lightyears, in studio, 8:30. Be there or be square. All right? Can't wait for that. And also, we got the Warriors preseason summit live, Willard and Dibbs, starting at 2 o'clock. Fieldwork Brewing Co. in San Leandro. I'm going to be there. Probably head over there, get there around like 3, be there around until 4:30. Check out the first segment. Yeah. So if you're a pre-gamer, come on out there. Stunna Filmo, I see you on the chat. By the way, this new camera angle, you can just get a wide definition of my schnoz. So I urge all of you to be going. Sam's doing a little smirk. He's like, well, can't do anything about that. The camera, they say the camera adds 5 pounds. Well, like 20 pounds of the schnoz. It's all good. It's accentuated. It's regal. All right? So search 95.7 The Game, like and subscribe there for Joe Lacob, Warriors preseason summit. Every single thing. It's happening today, people. I'm excited. It's a Wednesday. It's a hump day. 888-957-9570. That's the number to get involved. Call or text the Comcast Business text line. It's always open. And be sure to download that Odyssey app and favorite 95.7 The Game for all of your Golden State Warriors, San Francisco 49ers, San Francisco Giants coverage. We got it all this morning here on the pregame show with yours truly, Joe Spadoni. Appreciate all y'all chiming in at this hour of the morning for just getting off work, just getting ready for work, getting ready for school, doing what you got to do. Appreciate you being here with me. And we're all across the world. We're in Australia. We're in the Netherlands. We're in Great Britain, Canada, Mexico, all via YouTube. And I appreciate you guys. EJ Gomez. Morning, Bro Tato. It's been a minute. Talking to my pregame show audience. And this morning, we got a lot to get into. But I wanted to start with ownership. I think it's only fair, right? Considering Joe Lacob, one of the greatest owners in the history of the NBA and here in the Bay Area. And that means a lot. That I don't say that just lightly. Joe Lacob, one of the greatest owners in Bay Area sports history. You got the likes of Eddie DeBartolo, Al Davis. What are you looking at me like that, Sam? Whoa. Put up your mic on the board. Hold on. Hey, hashtag new studio. Should we be the one that says producer on there? Pot it up, or you can go on board.
You're going to put Al Davis in the same conversation as Joe Lacob? Come on now.
Do you understand what Al Davis meant for the NFL? There would be no merger if there wasn't for Al Davis. Do you understand what he did for African-American players?
Oh, no,
do you understand what he did? Do you understand what he did?
About just those last 10, 15 years, though, how much is that damage?
Well, wait, we have to wait till Joe Lacob gets there, right? Hey, okay, it's only fair. Joe Lacob right now, post Steph Curry, I don't know what it's going to be like. That's going to be the real test for him. He inherited a guy in Stephen Curry. Now, he wasn't the Steph then. But to your point, Sam, it's going to be very fascinating to see this kind of second arc of his career. And it starts with this Klay Thompson contract. What's going to be going on there? Right? What's going to be going on with Klay Thompson? A lot to be made there. Adrian Wojnarowski, ESPN. Here's what he had to say in regards to the Warriors and Klay in contract talks.
I'm told that there has been absolutely no progress on a Klay Thompson extension in Golden State, that they are both still apart on years and money. And there's a very real possibility that Klay Thompson goes into free agency next summer without a deal. And I think that's where it gets complicated for Golden State and becomes a little bit something of a high wire act, especially if Klay Thompson duplicates this year the kind of season he had last year. 41% three-point shooting, led the league with 301 threes, and his best points per game at almost 22 points a game in several years. In the marketplace, teams value shooting. They value high-level wing defense. And so I think for Golden State, this has a chance to become, I think, the first real test of keeping together that core of Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson.
Ooh, I like that little fade out there. Adrian Wojnarowski, ESPN, far apart. Now, what does new ESPN NBA analyst, former president of basketball operations, our friend here at 95.7 The Game, what does Bob Myers think of all this?
Well, this is why I left, first of all. A lot of times people will say it's just business, but this is not a just business situation. This guy, there's going to be a statue of this player outside of Chase Center. He was instrumental in bringing 4 championships. He's beloved inside the organization, the fan base. So it's not so simple as it's money and years. This is why it was hard for me. You get relationships with these people, especially if you've succeeded with them. And that core has been together for 12 years. And that's just so rare now. It just doesn't happen. And so this is a delicate negotiation. From what I know and see, he wants to stay. They want him to stay. Doesn't mean it'll happen. But it is a test. It's certainly a test, like Woj said. And this is probably the first real test.
The first real test for Mike Dunleavy Jr. Do you want Klay Thompson back before the season starts? Or are you saying, it's fine. Let him play it out. Where were you at, Warriors fans, with Klay Thompson? It didn't end well. It was not pretty how that ended in Los Angeles. The talk heading into that series was, oh man, this is what Klay has wanted his entire life. Grew up a Laker fan. His favorite player was Kobe Bryant. Dad obviously played for the Showtime Lakers, won championship. His dad still calls games on the radio size for the Lakers. This is a coming out party. It's a homecoming for Klay. And it felt like you felt the pressure weighing on him as each and every game went by and as every shot missed and clanked and as he was pressing. You could just see it. And it was just bad. He'll tell you that. He played awful. Horrible. And I think that left a lot of bad tastes in Golden State Warriors fans' mouths watching that. That's the lasting image you have of Klay. It wasn't pretty. So when it comes into contract negotiations, I feel like a lot of Warriors fans, and let me know at 888-957-9570, are looking like, man, his age really showed. His age really showed in that series. Now you can say it was a dumpster fire year. It all was culminating to that anyways. The Jordan Poole, the punch, Dark Cloud, the Andrew Wiggins situation, him being out, him being hurt towards the end of that series, just all of it was just such a mess that, you know what? He didn't come into the year in shape. New season, new Klay Thompson, clean slate. Let's let him play it out. And then if he duplicates what he did last year, for that hot stretch he had in January, if he can do that consistently throughout the season, I'm not saying he's going to be historic all season long. No, he'd be an MVP candidate. And he's not going to be the same player he was. He's older, coming off 2 major injuries. That lateral quickness isn't there like it used to be. He can't be guarding, those quick guys, those Kyrie Irvings like he used to in the past. Can't be doing that anymore. Can't be doing that. So what's it going to look like for Klay this season? In shape, working out, doesn't have that championship hangover. He's hungry, wants a new contract. How's it going to look? And how do we feel about him? 888-957-9570. Nicole Diaz, good morning. Buenos dias, Nicole, out there in the MIA. ESPN has been on an anti-Warriors campaign lately. Wow, Nicole coming out firing. I don't know if they're anti-Warriors. I just had a former president of basketball operations, Bob Myers, talking about the team. I don't think it's anti to just, talk about the contracts. If you remember, in that Kings series, in that first round of the playoffs last year, Klay leaked that information to Woj. His camp linked that information. What was that? Heading into game 6 or 7? I think it was 6 when they lost. But his camp was leaking to Woj like, yeah, Klay wants a new contract. And then all the Warriors fans like, have you seen how he's been playing lately? It's what have you done for me lately? I know it's Guru's favorite phrase. Shout out Janet Jackson. But that's what it is for a lot of fans. What have you done for me lately? Not what have you done with me in your career? But as you'll hear from Joe Lacob today at 8:30 with Bonte and Joe Shasky, there are a lot of loyalty if you've brought in a lot of hardware here. But this is the twilight of Stephen Curry's career. I don't know how many years he has at this elite level that he has been playing at. Chris Paul, old. He's probably one and done. You got Jonathan Kuminga, but Draymond Green, older. So you could be loyal, but if you start showing signs of wear and tear that Klay has already shown, and that continues this season, and you give him a contract, then it's not looking good. Then you're hampered down, and you're flirting with that second tax apron that we all know that you do not want to get to. That's what the Warriors are trying to avoid here. So it's a very tricky situation that you heard from Woj and heard from Bob Myers. What about Tim Kawakami of The Athletic? Know him. You may love him. You may hate him. If you hate him, he probably blocked you on social. But Tim Kawakami, Bay Area zone, talking, Dubs, Niners, Warriors, A's, Giants, everything. He knows everything. He's a Bay Area czar of sports. TK on the Morning Roast yesterday talking about, I thought I had it here. Nonetheless, how Chris Paul or Klay might react to being pulled a little bit too early into a game.
If they don't play Chris Paul, down the stretch of 3 tight games and they go 1-2, what's he say after? If they pull out Klay, and I keep saying that, I don't want to be mean, but people seem to be skipping over. That's the person who I think is as likely as Kevon Looney to be pulled out of the closing group as anybody. Really think about it.
Yeah.
Then, if that happens and they lose, what does Klay think about it? Can they really do that? We'll see. I think it's going to be a mix. It's not going to be one thing or another.
TK talking about closing lineups, and if Klay's not playing well, how's he going to feel if he's get pulled out late, stuff like that. So 888-957-9570. Where are we at with Klay Thompson's contract? Should they give it to him? Do you want to see Klay play it out? What say you? 888-957-9570. You guys need to relax the word ninja, all right? I know what it means. Steve Smith Sr. said as much on the broadcast last week. I keep seeing it everywhere. I don't know. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are the only ninjas I recognize. All right. So Benny's going to be for Halloween. Got the Leonardo outfit. So cute, so adorable. Baby Nora's going to be Michelangelo. It's going to be great. Maybe I'll be Splinter. I don't know what Jade will be. Good movie, though. I saw it. The one with Seth Rogen, all them. Ice Cube was a bad guy. Very fun. Highly recommend it. Even if you don't have kids. If you're a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan, highly recommend. Hamza! I haven't talked to you in a while on the YouTube chat. And we are live and streaming on Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. This is the pregame show with Joe Spadoni. Hamza Raja. Good morning, Joe. The Warriors paid Klay for 2 years. He didn't play. He owes the organization. He doesn't owe the organization jack. He's helped the team win 4 titles. He's owing them anything. Full stop. Right there. And the amount of times I've seen, the organizations do best by the organizations in sports and not by the player. Psh. Yeah. Loyalty gets tested real quick. Good morning, Ernie Chavez. Ernie, you're going to be at the Fieldwork Brewing Co. in San Leandro today? Come on. I need to meet my guy, Ernie. He is locked and loaded. He's been with me since day one when I've just a measly little board op doing weekend shifts with the likes of Rick Tittle, Michael Urban, JD, Warriors This Week, him and Steiny, all that. Shout out Ernie. P1. Not saying all you guys that are up at 5 a.m. with the pregame show are all P1s, but Ernie is P1 squared. There you go. Stunna Fillmore, good morning. Rumham, 1265. Millionaires and billionaires squabbling over money and pride. Yawn. That's what we talk about. Yes. The sports landscape, we are going to be talking about millionaires and billionaires because that's what the players are paid for. Yes. So, spoiler alert, Sports Talk Radio is going to be talking about millionaires squabbling over cash a lot. Contract negotiations, what have you, guaranteed money, contracts. That's what dominated the offseason with Nick Bosa, right? We talk about this stuff. And speaking of Nick Bosa, and we can get back to the Golden State Warriors as Joe Lacob, owner of the Golden State Warriors, joining Bonta and Chasky at 8:30 here live in studio. 95.7 The Game. You're going to be watching that on Twitch and YouTube, by the way. That will be streaming there. But we had Brian Baldinger in yesterday, as we do each and every Tuesday with the Morning Roast at 7:30. Baldy, you know him, you love him. NFL Network analyst, former NFL offensive lineman. Guy knows his stuff, breaks it down better than anyone else, and he's our 95.7 The Game insider when it comes to the NFL. Here's Baldy talking about... Hey, what? There we go. Sorry. Hashtag new studio. Lost my train of thought. All good. Baldy on what he is not seeing from Nick Bosa, who I just mentioned had massive contract negotiations this summer, got paid, highest paid defensive player in the league, and has maybe not been living up to it like a lot of fans had thought. Baldy, what say you?
Well, the only thing you don't see from Nick that you see from other elite guys are quick escapes. Like, where like you saw Micah Parsons last night just make the right tackle whiff.
Yep.
You see Max Crosby do that routinely. Like, these guys are just whiffing. Like, Nick is a power rusher, and he's good with leverage. He's good with his hands. But you're not seeing quick escapes from him right now. He had 34 pass rushes the other day out of a possible 36. But you're just not seeing quick escapes from him right now. So if the ball, like it did on Sunday from PJ, gets out quick, or they're running misdirection or bootlegs, like, he's not going to get a lot of opportunities. If you do make him hold it, like, he's just taking the long route by just basically trying to power push you. He's got 16 quarterback hits in 6 games. It's not that much different than last year. You're just not seeing the quick escapes from him right now.
And listen, I'm not saying he hasn't lived up to his contract yet. That's so early in the season. He can have a game-breaking game where he has, 3 or 4 sacks, and everyone's like, oh, see, Bosa's... Exactly. And I wouldn't be shocked if he does that Monday night against Kirk Cousins, who could fold like a pancake if he's not given the protection. We all know that. Kirk is not going to be extending plays. He'll make mistakes, stick in the pocket, and that's where Bosa can feast. But, to Baldy's point, feels like teams are gunning for him more and more, and that opens up the avenues for other guys like a Drake Jackson, who had only, 22 snaps this past week? After an amazing, 3-sack game against Steelers in week 1? Speaking of MIA and Nicole Diaz, that's where he's been. Gone. Javon Kinlaw, what's he doing? Don't see him. I see Hargrave. I see him making plays. I see Randy Gregory coming from Denver with 7, 8 days under his belt, getting his sack already. Called that, by the way, last Friday on the Morning Roast. I give out winners. Took the over half sack with Randy Gregory. It was plus money, by the way. Come on. Don't mess with me. And yes, Tyler D on the YouTube chat. I'm going to wear this mic stand out. I absolutely am. It's not as squeaky yet. We need to get the WD-40. But it's a theater of the mind. Only the ones on the YouTube could see how much I fiddle with this thing. Now, I'm not Steiny level with the mic because he stands up and down and with these motion-tracked cameras and makes it very difficult. I'm standing and I just mess with it constantly. It is what it is. But I appreciate you noticing, Tyler. And I just want to notice Nick Bosa a little bit more. Like that little segue? I just want to notice Nick Bosa just a little bit. And I want to know from Niner fans, have you been underwhelmed by Nick Bosa, reigning DPOY? Or have you been more underwhelmed by everything around him? Now, it's funny what one game can do, because no one prior to Week 6's loss in Cleveland would be saying this. Oh, I'm disappointed. Oh, no. No. But with losses comes more scrutiny. And now we're starting to see little deficiencies here and there that we weren't noticing prior to Week 6. That's what happens. And you know how you make that go away and make us not talk about it? Go to US Bank Stadium. That's what it was, not Citizens Bank. Not the Phillies, who dominated yesterday. 10-0 win over the D-backs in the NLCS. They're up 2-0. As are the Texas Rangers. They're also up 2-0. But Texas is staying in state and going back to Arlington, their home park. What is that, Globe Life Park or whatever? So, Dusty and Bochy, man, get after it. But US Bank Stadium for the 49ers, you go up there and dominate in Minnesota. No harm, no foul. Week 6 is behind us. All good. But if they lose, Kirk Cousins has a great game. Oh, I might be insufferable on Tuesday because I had the audacity and gall to say that Kirk Cousins is actually a pretty good quarterback. He just gets crushed way too often by people that think he's this God tier top 10. No one said he's top 10. Saying he's a good quarterback. He's actually been pretty good this year, all things considered. But no Justin Jefferson. I think it's going to be tough sledding for him on Monday. Although I thought the same with PJ Walker and co. this past week, and they won. Good morning to MDK1, Sideshow Bob, all y'all in the YouTube chat. Appreciate you chiming in. 888-957-9570. More from Brian Baldinger on not Nick Bosa, but another All-Pro that kind of had a little disappearing act this past week.
I mean, they targeted him, I think, 2 times, Joe. And, he caught like a little flat route for a yard. That was it. He wasn't featured. And we've seen this before where his number really isn't called and he's not, part of the route combination or the procedure in the routes. And so he can kind of disappear at times. It seems like a lot of times that when George gets involved, it's all plays where he's not the primary, but there's scramble drills. And, Purdy didn't get a lot of those with the way that the Browns really pressed the line of scrimmage, where he got a chance to get outside the pocket and Kittle just kind of runs the scramble drill and he shakes free. That didn't happen at all on Sunday.
Where's George Kittle? That monster game against the Cowboys? Outside of that, quiet. But we know this. And Baldy's talking about it. He goes through these stretches where, you know what? He might not get the ball. And then this is what the Kyle Shanahan offense does. It's not a fantasy football offense unless you have Christian McCaffrey. It's not. There's going to be an equal distribution of wealth. Shout out Bernie Sanders. Good morning, Dante Wally Morale. Dante Morale. Love that name, Dante, by the way. It's my nono's middle name was Dante. Angelo Dante Spadoni. Strong Italian name. It's my cousin's name as well. But I wouldn't worry about it when it comes to George Kittle not getting touches. Fantasy football, I would. And it's a premium right now in the NFL. By the way, pick up Michael Mayer, Raiders tight end rookie. If you're in a, not a deep league, probably available in a lot of them, Yahoo and ESPN's. Coming out party was last week against the Patriots, who aren't very good, but they're playing another not very good team this week in the Chicago Bears. There's my fantasy football advice for this morning. But I wouldn't worry about George Kittle. What I am worried about is Christian McCaffrey's health. And him being out there and not out there, it's a massive, massive difference. And Brian Baldinger thinks that this entire offense change if CMC isn't out on the field next week in Minnesota.
He's the best running back in the league right now. And so, you can put Jordan Mason, Elijah Mitchell, you could put all these guys they have there in there. I mean, they're not Christian McCaffrey. Not as dangerous. They're not as slippery. They don't have the ability he has in the passing game. So they're not gonna be the same offense. I mean, nobody would be without him in there. And so they're gonna have to adjust. Maybe Debo carries it more than what we have seen. That's a possibility. But, they like Mitchell. They like Jordan. They like Jordan Mason. Like, it's their time to shine. Everybody's dealing with these injuries. I don't care if you're the backup quarterback or whatever it is. Everybody's dealing with it. And so at one position or another, it's the 49ers' time to deal with it right now.
It's their time. And it's been their time to deal with this sort of stuff constantly, right? Every single season under Kyle Shanahan, there's some major injury left and right. Now, I'm not here to say that the season's over with Christian McCaffrey. Do you need CMC to win a Super Bowl? Probably, but they've been to one without him. They've been to multiple NFC championships without a Christian McCaffrey. So to say that they couldn't get there or get the job done without him, is wrong just because we've seen it. But to Baldy's points, it opens up everything for everyone else. We're talking about the equal distribution of wealth around the team. It starts with Christian McCaffrey. He dominates those carries, but it opens up the floodgates for everyone else because you got to respect that run game. Sneakily, the yards after contact for Christian have actually been pretty good, but that's not what you want. Not in the zone running scheme. You want those wide open lanes, you want those quick cuts, and boom, cloud of dust. That's what you want. This isn't a Josh Jacobs type of a offense, a Derrick Henry one, where they're constantly bouncing off guys. You don't want that. And Christian, he's put on a lot of weight to his credit, a lot of muscle to help combat that. But at the same time, running backs, you can't help it. They're going to get hit constantly. If you can minimize that to the best of your abilities, and that's what Kyle Shanahan, the zone running scheme does, then good things are going to happen going forward. Hopefully nothing too serious. Kyle Shanahan said as much a few days ago. Day to day, they're hoping Monday for Debo, Trent, and CMC. So is what it is. 209 on the Comcast Business text line, 888-957-9570 if you'd like to weigh in. 49ers know they messed up letting DeForest Buckner go, even more than they did on Lance probably. I don't know if they messed up, letting Lance go. I think you mean the Lance pick. It's pretty bad. Seems like it worked out anyways with Brock Purdy. But the DeForest Buckner one, yes, that's always going to be one you can go through and be like, missed the boat on that one. You can do that for a lot of Bay Area athletes. I think the Giants figured that out with Kevin Gosman. Probably should have paid that guy. The Kinlaw pick has not worked out for John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. That is a fact. You know what else is a fact is I got a break. More on the other side, more Niners, more Warriors, and Joe Lacob, owner of said Golden State Warriors, in studio, 8:30, Bonta Hill, Joe Shasky. Cannot freaking wait for that. We got the Warriors preseason summit today. Yeah. Starting at 2 o'clock live from Fieldwork Brewing Co. in San Leandro. Warriors preseason summit. The summit all gets started with all the hosts at 4 o'clock. I'll be out there. I want to hear from the people that are going to be out there, 888-957-9570. And wait till you hear what a Bay Area athlete said about their ownership. That's coming up next here. Pregame show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
Lowe's knows pros want savings now. That's why, as an MVP's Pro Rewards member, you get volume savings on orders of $1,500 or more at the Pro Desk. And there's more. We've lowered our prices on select top products like electrical wire and drywall, so you can get the job.
to sfhistory.org and discover the San Francisco Historical Society, giving our history a great future. Become a member today.
Now, back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
Welcome back. Pre-game show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. We got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Joe Lacob in studio today, 8:30, Bontail Joe Shasky. Cannot wait for that. We got the Warriors preseason summit today, San Leandro, Fieldwork Brewing Co. Be there, be square. I'll be there, so I won't be square because I'm too legit to quit. Hot Rod reference for those in the know. All-time movie, Andy Samberg. Look into it. Good morning to all of you on the Twitch and YouTube chat. We are live and streaming here. You can see me fiddling with this mic. It's an adjustment. Maybe I'll keep fiddling with it. I don't know. I'm just trying to find my spot, you know? It's all right. We're working through it. Hashtag new studio. We're rolling. I take a nice little walk now to the studio, to the streets of San Francisco at, 4 o'clock in the morning. Probably not recommended to most. You know what? I do it anyways because I love you guys. I want to hear you. I want to talk to you. Right? Like this guy just on the YouTube chat. That's all it says is just. Spado. Good morning. Ernie. Good morning. Yeah, these camera trackers on here. It's just, I don't know. I feel like Skynet. There's like a Terminator thing going on. I don't know, man. I don't know. What I do know is I'm glad to be talking about sports. And specifically, and we were talking about Joe Lacob, Klay Thompson, the contracts. We were talking about the 49ers, Brian Baldinger sound. We'll get back into those. But specifically ownership, since Joe Lacob is coming into studio today, talking about that. And I can't think of two polar opposites in this market when it comes to owning a sports franchise than what I've seen from John Fisher and Joe Lacob. It's literally two ends of the spectrum. One is putrid, disgusting, horrible, lousy, degenerate, and other side is maverick, innovative, light years, does whatever it takes to win, all of that. And here is a former player, former Oakland Athletic, who announces retirement on this same podcast, live stream, whatever you want to call it. Trevor May, he ended up being the A's closer, second half of the All-Star break. Actually played pretty damn well, all things considered. Not a great season for the A's. Trevor May, went on the IL earlier in the season with anxiety. Mental health is a big thing for him. Just wasn't coping well early on with some of his struggles. You know what? Good for him for recognizing that, taking the time he needed, coming back and pitching pretty damn well. But he announces retirement from the sport of baseball. And he had a nice parting shot to one John Fisher. Take a listen.
And I just want to know, now that it's official, to the A's organization and every single person part of it, I love all of you. Every single one of you except for one guy. We all know who that guy is. Sell the team, dude. I tried to get a sell shirt. It didn't get here fast enough. Sell it, man. Let someone who actually takes pride in the things they own something. There's actually people who give a shit about the game. Let them do it. Take mommy and daddy's money somewhere else, dork. And also, if you're gonna just be a greedy, own it. There's nothing weaker than being afraid of cameras. So that's one thing I really struggled with this year, was not just eviscerating that guy. Do what you're gonna do, bro. You're whatever. You're a billionaire. They exist. You guys have all this power. You shouldn't have any because you haven't earned any of it. But anyway, whatever. It is what it is. Reality is you got handed everything you have, and now you're too soft to stand in front or take any responsibility for anything you're doing. Yeah, whatever. Oakland is Oakland. You can make all the cases. Oh, it's not a great city. Blah, 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 blah. But you're putting hundreds, if not thousands, of people out of work that have worked somewhere for decades, and you haven't acknowledged that at all. So, just be better. That's all we're asking. Just be a human being.
God, I love Trevor May. It's a shame he retired because I would have bought in that guy's jersey. Amen. Ugh. John Fisher, just. When's that stadium deal going to be announced? Are we already done? Is the move official? I don't even know. I'm so numb to the situation now, but good for Trevor May. Needed to be said. And this is how the players feel about that guy. For as much as, we want to, crap on the team for now, it's like they don't want to play for him. Thousands, just think of all the players that have gone out of their way to, respect the fans of Oakland this past year when asked about the whole situation. I have tremendous respect for those guys. Some of the other guys that said, it's the city. And I was like, screw off. The Robbie Grossmans of the world saying, Oakland, it's just not going to work there. They should move to Vegas. Please. Matt Olson's, Matt Chapman's, guys like that, the Sean Murphys, the Trevor Mays, they get it. They understand what's going on. This is major league in real life. This guy is a crook. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. Actually, he does know what he's doing, but he's doing it in such a way, in such a cowardly way, that he's becoming public enemy number one here in the Bay Area for ownership outside of, the Greg Johnsons. Obviously, that's different type of struggles just on the field. Struggles of actually having a team leave the market, kind of quells stuff like that. Arguments like that. I was listening to Bonte and Jaska yesterday. All I could think, I was like, well, at least you guys can argue about this. My favorite team's leaving. So good for Trevor May. And ownership matters. It does. Good ownership matters. When you see bad ones, you rarely see them winning titles. Rarely. It's very hard to overcome bad ownership in sports, no matter how good the players are. Spend the money. Get out of the way. If you're going to get involved, do it 1,000%, 100 million%. Be involved. Don't be wishy-washy. This isn't good. Let's make no. Either be a Jed York, get out of the way, do your thing, or be like a Joe Lacob, or nothing at all. Those are the opposite ends of the spectrums in a good way. There's the Joe Lacob category where, you know what? I'm going to be involved. I'm going to let my decision makers make the decisions, but I want to be involved in those decisions as well. I want to hear everyone's thoughts, ideas. He is incorporated into that organization in such a way where it's endearing to fans. Now, if it all ends up and blows up and, Kevin Durant will go in and he got the one title, so it's fine. He got number 4. They don't win another one. It's tough, right? But you can say Joe Lacob did everything to win. Jed York, same thing. He's paying out the wazoo over in Santa Clara. He's keeping his head down. He understands that no one wants to hear from him. He does have the public speaking chops to be out there like a Jerry Jones. And Jerry Jones, I don't know if he should be out there public speaking anymore as it is, although the sound bites are hilarious. But he understood the assignment. Get the hell out of the way. Let John Bob Myers, retired. Let John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan do their job, and I'll just reap the benefits. That's what good owners do. That's what good owners do. And we got one more break. Come on back. 888-957-9570. Your thoughts on what Trevor May had to say on ownership in the Bay Area. Joe Lacob coming into the studio. We got Fieldwork Brewing Co. We're going to have a handshake update at 5:45, or after this break. We got a couple minutes, 5:45. But after the break, we'll have a handshake update. I'm going to shake Joe Lacob's hand today. And I'm going to tell you, the first time I shook his hand, which was in studio last year, wasn't the best. I'll discuss that on the other side right here on the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
Made to Shine. Real stories from Shane Company customers.
I was 20 years old, stationed in Hawaii, and 2 weeks before I was deployed, I met the love of my life. The second I returned, I bought a cheap ring at the Base Exchange and proposed. 15 years later, I went to Shane Company and got her a one-of-a-kind ring with a pear-shaped diamond. It's the ring she deserves.
Shine forever with Shane Company's hand-selected diamonds, as unique as your love story. Shane Company, fine jewelry since 1929.
Meet Bruce.
Hey there.
He's a busy soccer dad who's trying hard to learn the game.
Go for the end zone.
Whoops. Luckily, other things come easy, like banking with Chase. On a tip from his banker, he set up AutoSave in the Chase mobile app. So what are you saving for, Bruce?
Father-daughter soccer camp.
Smart bankers, convenient tools, one bank with the power of both. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
AutoSave requires a Chase checking and savings account. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
I can't wait for what's next. Even with higher stroke risk due to atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Eliquis, the Pixaban tablets, reduces stroke risk. It's the #1 cardiologist-prescribed blood thinner.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or have antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising, or if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take medicines such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Bank of America is the proud employer of over 210,000 teammates who go above and beyond to support their clients' financial goals. Like Emily, who helps clients create a plan to build the future they want, like a wedding, having kids, or retirement. All real achievements her clients have.
Cleaning and pruning, like stems, roots, and leaves. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
95.7 The Game is an equal opportunity employer, and we encourage local community organizations to refer qualified applicants to us. You can receive The Game and Odyssey job vacancy information by contacting Human Resources at 415-765-4011 or by emailing sfhr@odyssey.com.
Now, back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
Welcome back. Pregame show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky on deck. Oh, in about 17 minutes they'll join. Been talking a little bit about everything, really. We had A's, we had Giants, we had Niners, Warriors, we got everything. They're not touching everything at the Warriors preseason summit today, though. Well, everything as it pertains to the one team, that is. Warriors preseason summit today, San Leandro, Fieldwork Brewing Co. Be there, be square. We'll be live and local. Willard and Dibbs starting at 2 o'clock, and then the summit begins at 4. I will be there. I want to see you there as well. And before that, we got Joe Lacob coming in studio with Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky at 8:30. Cannot wait for that. And for those that don't know, I had an infamous handshake with him last year. We may or may not record it this year just to see how it goes. Maybe I'll have Sam Lubman lurking in the shadows to capture it. But I was shocked. I went out there. I felt like the meme guy. I want to shake his hand. I'm going to shake his hand. That's how I felt. I'm going to give this a billionaire a nice strong handshake. Right? Gave me the limp hand. It felt like I was shaking a zombie's hand from Raccoon City. Like, what was that? It was just, if you're on the YouTube, it was just like, Like, was that a power move? Like, I just didn't know how to react. It felt like Hank Hill when he shook George Bush's hand. He was like, what? You got a soft grip. Wasn't expecting that from the president. Man. Tyler D on the chat, he judges hard from a bad handshake. I'm not judging Joe. Gets the benefit of the doubt. Maybe you caught him at a weird time. Maybe he wasn't paying attention. I don't know. Giving him a second chance today for a nice, normal handshake. Then again, billionaires aren't normal people. They're different. You start talking about that B word, changes things. It does. But Joe Lacob, it's all good fun. It's nothing too serious. Relax, people. Relax. Joe Lacob in studio, 8:30. Can't wait. Cannot wait. And as it pertains to the Golden State Warriors, it's going to be a big Warriors day, obviously. Summit, Mr. Lacob in studio. The conversation we started the show with was Klay Thompson, his contract. And here was what Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN, their NBA insider, had to say about contract talks between the Warriors and Klay.
I'm told that there has been absolutely no progress on a Klay Thompson extension in Golden State, that they are both still apart on years and money. And there's a very real possibility that Klay Thompson goes into free agency next summer without a deal. And I think that's where it gets complicated for Golden State and becomes a little bit something of a high wire act, especially if Klay Thompson duplicates this year the kind of season he had last year. 41% three-point shooting, led the league with 301 threes, and his best points per game at almost 22 points a game in several years. In the marketplace, teams value shooting. They value high-level wing defense. And so I think for Golden State, this has a chance to become, I think, the first real test of keeping together that core of Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson.
Okay. Are we paying Klay right now or letting him play it out? 888-957-9570. What are we doing with Klay Thompson? I know most Warriors fans will say, hey, pay him, bring him in. He's earned it, yada, yada, yada. Another fan base would say, hey, you know what? That Lakers series left a bad taste in my mouth, and that's the Klay we're going to get going forward. I'd like to see him play it out again. But if he plays it out again, and he does well, he's going to command a lot of money. I don't think the Warriors can pay him. So they're kind of playing with fire here. If you let Klay play it out and he balls out, he's going elsewhere. because you can't afford him. Can't. Unless you seriously hamper the rest of your team, which I don't think you're in the position to do. Draymond got his contract. Steph's got his contract. I don't know if Klay's going to get his. What say you? 888-957-9570. 209 on the Comcast Business text lines from Dylan talking about the handshake. I think Joe or the president get passes because they do so much. I'm just asking for a handshake. I'm not asking him, to, a city permit to build J Center, or, I'm not asking Mr. President to solve all the conflicts going on in the Middle East. I'm asking for a damn handshake. 574 as it pertains to Klay Thompson on the Comcast Business text line. They wouldn't have extended Draymond without wanting to extend Klay too. It wouldn't make any sense. All right. Well, if they let him play it out, then they're telling them, and they're telling Klay, just because we signed Draymond doesn't mean we want to sign you too. And Draymond played pretty damn well last year. He wasn't DPOY, but he played an elite level on both ends of the court. He did. He showed up. Klay, in the biggest series, he did not show up. Now, you could say, well, Draymond hampered the entire season with the punch, the dark cloud, all that. And that is true. But the play on the court, and they feel like they've gotten rid of that dark cloud in Jordan Poole. Excuse me, I'm fighting through a little bit. Just getting over a few days removed from losing my voice. But my voice is back for the people. I needed it. I couldn't go into the summit, talking like Vito Corleone and Godfather 1, talking to, Johnny Ola, not Johnny Ola, that's Godfather 2. No, Johnny Ola's his Godfather. Johnny Ola, that was Corrado, right? Or was Johnny Ola his Godfather? I'm all over the place. Italians, I'm sorry. It's early. Give me a break. Give me a pass. Who was the Godfather's godson? Was Johnny Ola the singer, right? Let me know. 888-957-9570. But sound like Vito Corleone the last few days. Oh, thank you, 408, for catching the Raccoon City. Albert Wesker. He would have a strong grip for the handshake. Appreciate you. 415, no Klay extension is because Klay might be asking for too much. Might be. What's the price point? He leaked his camp leaked the same thing during the Kings series in the playoffs. This isn't new information. He's wanted a contract. They've known for quite some time. Are they going to do it? 415, again, I hope Klay remembers being fully paid. Johnny Fontaine, thank you. Sorry, hashtag squirrel. Johnny Ola was the guy that played Junior Soprano in his Godfather 2. Thank you. All right. Hashtag squirrel, sorry. 415, I hope Klay remembers being fully paid during his injury years and the gratefulness he should at the time to the organization. Discount a 3-year deal. Again, Klay is in no position to do the team any favors. Players are trying to get theirs constantly. And I don't blame them. I'm always siding with the play. Hey, get your money any way you can. Loyalty in sports, kind of a myth. It's a business at the end of the day. And you could be loyal to a fault, and that hurts championship windows. It does. Johnny Fontaine, thank you. Dante Wiley, see? Thank you. Pay Klay, do a poll, Joe. Well, I could do a poll in the next 3 minutes. I don't think it would get much traction. But maybe tomorrow I'll put a poll up again. What's up, Alex in Atlanta on the YouTube chat? Klay Thompson, we paying him now or letting him play out the season? 888-957-9570. Bob Myers, former president of basketball operations and now ESPN analyst. What say you?
Well, this is why I left, first of all. A lot of times people will say it's just business. But this is not a just business situation. This guy, there's going to be a statue of this player outside of Chase Center. He was instrumental in bringing 4 championships. He's beloved inside the organization, the fan base. So it's not so simple as it's money and years. This is why it was hard for me. You get relationships with these people, especially if you've succeeded with them. And that core has been together for 12 years. And that's just so rare now. That just doesn't happen. And so this is a delicate negotiation. From what I know and see, he wants to stay. They want him to stay. Doesn't mean it'll happen. But it is a test. It's certainly a test, like Woj said. And this is probably the first real test.
The first real test for Mike Dunleavy Jr. It wasn't the Jordan Poole getting off him. It wasn't bringing in Chris Paul. No. What are we going to do with future Hall of Famer, four-time champion, and Golden State Warrior legend, lifer, statue guy in Klay Thompson? What are we doing there? It's a massive test. What do you think Mike Dunleavy Jr. should do? Apparently he doesn't want to. Does he not want to be called Junior anymore? It's just Mike Dunleavy. Thumbs up from Sam. Okay. Same with Fred Warner. But that's their name. So, like, I'm kind of right. Junior. R.I.P. Sean Connery. 888-957-9570. Mellow Gus, take some black seed oil, Spadoni. Shout out Pharmacy for Life for the health info. Black seed oil. I'll have to look into that. I've never heard of black seed oil or a black seed in general. Black seed. Let's see. Contains compound called, I can't pronounce that, thymoquinone, I don't know. Stimulate tissue growth and promote wound healing. Well, it's not like a super bad wound I'm having. This is for burns and stuff like that. I just lost my voice. It happens. Shout out to King's Speech. I've run out of time, though. I appreciate all y'all working with me here in the news. I'm so happy to be back on Twitch and YouTube, seeing and talking to all you lovely, beautiful people at this hour of the day. I'm going to hand it off now to Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky. Joe Lacob, 8:30. Not going to want to miss it. Live in studio. That will be on Twitch and YouTube. Search 95.7 The Game, like and subscribe. That's all powered by First NorCal Credit Union. And today, the Warriors preseason summit at Fieldwork Brewing Co. in San Leandro. Be there, be square. It all starts with Willard and Dibbs at 2 o'clock. And the summit begins at 4 with all the hosts. Again, Fieldwork Brewing Co. in San Leandro. I'm Joe Spadoni. Morning Roast next. 95.7 The Game.